Hi everyone, this is Sanguinius Splits. This is my first video, so please subscribe and like. That would help me a lot and it would really support me to make this channel really good. So, we will be looking at the introduction to chess and really basic stuff. How to move pieces. So, you can all see the board, which is good. So I'll just say what each piece is and just a small description about it to start off. So we've got the rook here. It is 5 points, so quite a lot, and it's relatively quite a strong piece. Then we have a knight, this piece here. It can actually go over pieces, and it's quite a funky piece. It's actually one of my favourite pieces, and it's 3 points. This piece here is called the bishop. It's also 3 points, and it can move in diagonals, which I will explain how that works. The queen here, it is basically one of the most powerful pieces. It can really do great damage to your opponent. But the most important piece is a king. He's not that powerful, but he's really important in the game, because if you get checkmated, your opponent wins, which basically means that they trapped your king whilst attacking it, which means they've won the game. And as you can see here, this is the bishop and this is the knight too. And here's a rook. And these front pieces at the front, they're called pawns. They're 1 point each. They're not that fast, but they're good for trading and controlling space. And on this side, this is black. So we have the white pieces and the black pieces. White always goes first in chess. So in some games, you may, roll a dice to see who goes first. White always goes first. So white always goes first, and this is how you would normally set up a board, in this way. But that's not very important now. We're just going to be looking at how the pieces actually work. So, let's first look at quite an easy piece, I think. Let's look at the rook. So, I'm just going to take all these pieces off. We won't need them for now. And I'm also going to take all these pieces off. Sorry. There we go. So, these two are the rooks. I'm just going to put this one here for now. So, they all move in straight lines. So, straight lines all across the board. And they can move however far you want. So, they can move 3 spaces, for example, or 5, or even 6, right? But that's every turn how far you can move it. So, basically, straight away you can move there, from there, if you wanted. And the next move could go there, for example, right? And they move the same, of course, because they're different colours, but they still move the same. And you can even take enemy pieces. So if it was, let's just put it a bit closer. So if it was white's turn, these pieces are on the same line. So just, basically, this white piece can take this piece because it's on the same line in one turn. When you take a piece with a rook, you move it, take the piece, and land on the square. So I'm gonna give you a small quiz. If the rook is here, and your opponent's rook is there, what would you do to take it? So just pause the video for a minute, and think, how can white take that rook? So hopefully you thought of that, and the way it works, takes it and lands on the square. So hopefully that makes sense. Now we'll be moving on to the bishop. So I'm just going to take 2 pieces. These, the bishops. So, when you start the game, one of the bishops will start on the white square and one on the black square. And that's for each colour. So you have 2 bishops on the black side and 2 bishops on the white side. Okay, and one of them is black squared, which means it can only move on black squares, and one of them is white squared, and you see it's on a white square, so it can only move on white squares. Now they move diagonally, which means they travel in the same color, in kind of like a cross formation, and like the rook, they can go as far as they want. So this one here could go all the way there if it wanted. So again, hopefully that makes sense. We're going to remove those pieces. This time, if it was black's turn, what could you do in that position? Pause the video and take a think. So hopefully you realise that black can take it like that. Okay? Good. So now we're going to move to a slightly more harder piece, the knight. These are very interesting pieces, and like I said, they are one of my favourite because they move in a very interesting way. And I'm just going to borrow a rook. So, these pieces are very good because they're quite interesting. So, basically, just take that off. They kind of move in a L formation. So, what you do, you move 2 spaces forward, 1, 2, and then you decide if you go left or right. So, for example, from here, I could go there, and that would be 1 turn. Or I could even go this way. Basically, just take that off. They kind of move in a L formation. So, what you do, you move 2 spaces forward, 1, 2, and then you decide if you go left or right. So, for example, from here, I could go there, and that would be 1 turn. Or I could even go this way. And what's cool about knights, they can jump over pieces. So I could do this. I could literally jump over the piece and land on another square. They're very, very cool. I really like them. And a very important thing, the bishop and knight are the same amount of points. They're both 3 points. So basically they're equal. So if you traded them in a game, that could be good because you trade 3 points for 3 points. Now we're going to look at the king. He's quite a simple piece. He only moves 1 square in any direction, so forward or diagonal. So in 1 turn, he could do that. Let's say in another turn, he could do that. So he just goes 1 square at a time. He's a very slow piece. So he's quite simple. Also, he doesn't have any points. But basically, if you do checkmate, you win the game. So think about like unlimited amount of points. Now we have the queen. It's a very major piece with a lot of points. I'm pretty sure it has 9 points. Sorry if I got that wrong. It's either 9 or 7. It's a very strong piece, and it can move in both straight lines and diagonals. It's very strong. So basically, think about it like the rook and the bishop, but in one piece. Yeah, sorry, it's 9 points. Yeah. So the bishop can move in diagonals. The rook can go straight. Imagine that in 1, that's what the queen can do. It can go in diagonals 1 turn, then on another turn in straight lines if you want. It's a very good piece, except it can't go over pieces like a knight, which is a shame, but then it would be a very, very overpowered piece. Now let's go to the pawns. So you have a lot of pawns when you begin with, on both sides. Now, these are very interesting pieces. They're harder than they look. So, how it works, this is a line all your pawns start off with. So I'm just going to put 3 there, right? On the starting line, we're going to call it the breakfast line. When they're there, they're in a frenzy, which means they can go 2 squares if they would like. Or they could go 1, right? But they could go 2 squares on that line, right? On their starting line, which is very powerful. But on every other square, they have to move 1 square at a time. Now, the way these pieces take is just like all the other pieces, but it's actually not, because they take diagonally, which is really weird, because you think they move straight and take, like, in straight lines, but actually, they take pieces diagonally. That's one of the only times pawns can move diagonally. It's when they take pieces. And one rule, so if a black pawn starts here, and it moves all the way to the end, you can make it any piece you want, except the king. So, as we know, the queen is 9 points. Let's say you wanted to make it a queen, you take the pawn off the board, and place queen instead. So, I'd say pawns are very interesting games. There are a lot of them, but they get taken off quite quickly in the game. So yeah, that's all the pieces. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's quite a quick one. But next video, hopefully we understand a bit more about, tactics and maybe the opening principles. And maybe just some other extra rules that I didn't mention in this video. So please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and yeah, please have a good day. Thank you.